Hello again, Doc in Retrospect with the last of Mega Man 5 Hyperion by J. Riva. Now this Wily Stage 2 is probably one of the shortest, stage in the game. It's surprising, it goes by surprisingly fast. Which I don't mind because it's one of those stages where there's water, moving platforms, mets, and all that stuff that just, you know, it's just the worst. I've had some bad experiences with Wily Stage 2's hacks in this game. Fortunately, this is not too bad of an experience. That's not to say I won't have some issues, but not nearly as many as I could. For starters, this section is a little bit shorter and a little bit easier to deal with. Things don't get quite as tight overall. Plus, I know the beat trick. Oh man, there's a game that I played that I really should have used that on. Despite the fact that it's not quite as compressed, I still don't really want to spend a whole lot of time on it. That's gotten me killed before though, so I really probably should have been a little more careful. But it's all over now, so... Except for that one Met. I don't know why Mets are so hard for me to get around, but they are. The one thing I would caution with this game is how often it feels like it requires use of utilities. Rush Coil is so inefficient in this game that can be dangerous. Pretty easy to run out pretty quickly, and then there's a good chance of you getting trapped. Just something to be on the lookout for. We are quite literally almost done with this stage at this point. There's maybe one or two more rooms. There we are again, more Force Rush usage. And Force Rush Jet usage. They provide you with energy pickups, but still, that's a lot of rush for one stage. And you only get 7 uses of a not working very well Rush Coil. It's kind of frightening. And yes, believe it or not, we have another instance of Darkman. That's going to get into why won't you die point here. And once again, we get the cutscene. For some reason, we didn't get the cutscene at the proper point, but we get it every other time. I don't get that. Mega Man can't quite properly jump into where he needs to jump into here. This version of Darkman, though, is problematic because of that ceiling there. Essentially, you don't ever want to be under there because you're going to have, if you are, you're almost guaranteed to get hit when he jumps towards you. But it leaves a lot less time for reacting to his shots and for just general evasion purposes. And I should have used an E-Tank there, but I kind of was too slow on the uptake. Fortunately, the second time around went a lot better. And Darkman even remained red like he's supposed to. And that takes care of the shortest stage in the game. Next up, well, I think you know what's coming up next. Well, in general. Yeah, it's gonna be the boss refights. Now, in full disclosure here, I did end up taking a game over because I wasted all my lives on trying to get an M tank that you can't actually get out of. At least I don't think you can get out of it. But brief note is that when I first entered the boss room, one of the transporters was indeed destroyed before I got to it. I have no idea why that was, and it didn't happen the second time. So, weird glitch? I don't know if it would have allowed me to progress with just destroying the 7 of them or not. Anyway, I hyper mode through the bosses, and well, I start with a hilarious fail on Gravity Man, because his room is full of spikes. That is the way to make Gravity Man difficult, is spikes. That's pretty much the only way to make Gravity Man difficult, unless you have some special way of making that gravity flipping thing a lot more dangerous than it is. Also, getting that life was a lot more dangerous than it should be. There's an interesting thing. I don't think that the boss rooms from this one were the same as the boss rooms that I fought them originally. I actually think that they're from different areas of the stage. Part of the reason I think that is because all of them seem to have spots to move forward in, which wasn't in the original boss rooms. Some of them are pretty obvious. Like Gyromans and Crystalmans are going to be quite clear. The bosses themselves, still not, especially difficult overall. But they're a little bit tougher, just based on the layout of the rooms. Like Starman is giving me fits here. An uneven room is hugely to his advantage. Like, see, I used an E-Tank. I used an E-Tank against Starman. Against Starman. One of the most pitiful robot masters that has ever been. This is, now, Chargeman's, you can definitely know is different. This is where we found Eddie earlier. And it's like, just one of those things that makes this hack of Mega Man 5 one of the most unique that I've played ever, and of any version of Mega Man. I mean, I've seen changed bosses, I've seen changed stage layouts, I've seen some pretty nifty things, but I've never seen this. I've never seen changing the boss room to a different spot on the stage. I have to wonder. I even wonder if it was intentional, because it's just so unusual and out there that I sometimes wonder if maybe it didn't happen on accident. He just kind of said, "Throw it in." Well, all 8 bosses are down, and then it's Wily. Wily is Wily. This version of the Wily machine is basically the easiest there is. Except his weakness is Star Crash, and I'm not good at using the distance shot on Star Crash. It does a lot of damage when it hits, but it's just not worth it in my opinion. Yeah, I end up going back to the Buster because the Buster is so much more effective and gets the job done faster for someone like me who's not that careful. I'm sure someone can do it fast with Star Crash, but I can't. I would have sped this up too, except it's basically doesn't take that long. You would think a room with spikes right in the middle would be a little bit more dangerous. But even Wily can't even make that happen. It's kind of sad. I think he was just kind of phoning it in. Maybe he was hoping that we wouldn't be able to fight Proto Man, and that would keep us from ever having to reach this kind of pitiful little smasher thing. But it didn't work out that way. And now we have the final stage, along with all the ominous lightning it needs. The final stage is a little bit more of a stage than the usual final stages are, but not that much more. Well, it does have one of these guys to cause you problems. But it also has Eddie, who gives you absolutely nothing of any use. The Power Masters of all colors are coming out. Yeah, there's a little bit of a sprite flicker issues in a couple of places in the game, but not usually. It's kind of weird when it does happen. It's like, why here, of all places? It's like, just up there was like nothing else there to cause problems, but yet, there was the flicker. Anyway, it's Wily Tank! It's me wasting Super Arrow by landing on it. I don't usually have that problem, and yet it got me 3 times in this battle. Fortunately, not badly enough that I couldn't make up for it. And all I need to do then is summon my bird. And this goes simply enough. Although he flies off at one point, it's like, Bird, get your act together. But since this is basically the final boss of Mega Man 5, I'll go ahead and just basically call it complete here. This spoiler alert, I actually beat him. Surprise, surprise, I beat one of the easiest Wily bosses in the game. Or in the series. Ain't no Mega Man 7, that's for sure. But this has been Mega Man 5 Hyperion by J. Riva. And again, I'm impressed by quite a few of the things that he did with this game. Intentional or not, he did a pretty darn good job. He made stages that were longer, that had multiple checkpoints. He did some interesting things with some of the stage gimmicks. The bosses were all standard fare. No changes in the weakness cycle, no changes in the boss attack patterns or attacks themselves, or in the special weapons. But he changed the boss room layouts in such a way to actually make the challenges more difficult, even without being able to change, even without changing the actual way the bosses function themselves. And I really respect that. It goes to show that you don't need to have hugely different bosses to have a different experience. So all in all, it was a simple hack in some ways, but dig beneath the surface and look at some of the special things that it offers, and you get something that I would not mind seeing more of in the future. And if Jay Riva is watching this and he has plans in the future, feel free to let me know. I'd love to be first in line. Anyway, I'll just show an abbreviated version of the credits here and leave it off there. That is all for this game. That was Mega Man 5 Hyperion by Jay Riva. Pick it up at your own leisure. Anyway, that's all for me for now. Until next time, until next game, this is Doc. I'll see you later.